What's up, guys? I'm Josh Pate. That's Steve Wiltfong. It is the weekly Wiltfong recruiting whip around. Wiltfong, we got different positions, different names, different cities and camps to talk about this week. But we got to start with Malachi Starks. According to the 24/7 Sports Composite, that's a 5-star rated athlete. But what's really important for us this week is he's got an announcement coming up. It's scheduled for Thursday right now. So put it on the tee for us. Where does his recruitment stand?
Yeah, Malachi Starks, the number 2 athlete in the top 247. He's the number 13 player, regardless of position. He could play a lot of positions on the next level. He certainly does on the high school level. He's going to announce Thursday, as you said. It's Alabama, it's Clemson, it's Georgia. My gut says that the Georgia Bulldogs come into this thing in the best position. You know, I talking to his mom this week, she was like, if I could say one word about Georgia, and then she said a bunch of words after that. The relationship is beyond remarkable, and they've been there more than any other place, and they've connected with so many people on the staff. And she said that Georgia's talked to Malachi about playing on both sides of the ball wherever he sees a fit, and he's also a guy that brings ability in the return game. He's a high school quarterback that is a difference maker in the secondary, and at 6'1", 196 pounds, just brings a lot of versatility to your football team. But the familiarity with Georgia, the relationships with that coaching staff, I think that Georgia's in a good position going into the announcement, but don't sleep on Clemson. Clemson's done well recruiting in that Atlanta area. Also, if he picks Clemson, he'll be the third family member to go to Clemson as an uncle and a cousin. Uncle and a couple cousins have attended Clemson, and the family's close with Coach Kahn and Coach Bates over there. He has not visited Clemson. He has done some Zoom meetings with them. Alabama, he has been to Alabama and talks to them 2 or 3 times a week per his mom. Sam Petito is one of their main relationships over there. Sam Petito, an off-field guy that really struck a chord with the family when the family went through some trials and tribulations. Sam Petito was sending letters and being real genuine in his care for the Starks camp, and then certainly Mom said, hey, Alabama, they sure win a lot too, and so that's certainly exciting about Alabama, and they have a good relationship there. But I like Georgia going into it. Georgia's got the number 4 class in the country right now, and they're looking for a third number 1 under Kirby Smart. What I think will be 6 years, Josh.
Yep. It's already there. We're already over half decade in. Hey, how about this name, Steve? How about 4-star quarterback AJ Duffy? When I look at his player profile and I look at the crystal ball section, I see a lot of West Coast flavor. I see a lot of Sun Devil flavor. So where does that recruitment stand?
Well, he's from California and top 247 quarterback, going to play his senior year at IMG Academy. Played his first few seasons for his father, and Arizona State still in the thick of it for him. He's going to announce on March 31st, which I believe is his mom's birthday. So I'm going to celebrate that in grandeur style. But Arizona State, I think they're still in a good spot. But Michigan State and Florida State, particularly the Noles, in my opinion, I'm not sleeping on those programs. I think for AJ Duffy, he's looking for a place where he has an opportunity to come in and play instantly. You know, I think that you look at what Hank Bachmeier has been able to do at Boise State, come in as a true freshman and play. I believe his dad coached Hank Bachmeier, and similar situation for AJ to come in as a true freshman and start making a name for himself and getting those game reps is important. And I think at Arizona State, maybe they'll have an opening at quarterback, maybe not. We'll see what Jaden Daniels does this season. He's certainly got a ton of ability. Florida State, they're still trying to get their quarterback room figured out, as is Michigan State. Nobody, Florida State obviously landed a transfer in Mackenzie Milton, but down the road, we'll see what happens there. They're pushing for AJ Duffy. They already have Nico Markiel committed, and the Michigan State's in there as well.
So we finally have been able to get back out on the road and get to some camps, which for you is imperative because you get to do in-person evaluations again. And so I know you were down in my home state of Georgia recently in Atlanta. And not only did you get to attend the camp, you got to lay your eyes on a number of really, really highly rated kids. So give me some feedback from that camp.
Yeah, man, there were a ton of blue chip players at this camp, particularly in the trenches at the point of attack on both sides of the ball. Let's start with 5-star Walter Nolan, the #1 defensive tackle in the top 247 and the 24/7 Sports Composite kind of like where Georgia's sitting there with him. They're a team that's kind of trending up with him. LSU, he's talking to Coach O. Him and his family talk to Coach O almost every day. And in-state Tennessee doing everything they can to keep him home. He's going to visit Michigan next week on his own. He's got some family up there near Ann Arbor, and so he's going to check out Michigan. And he said he's got 3 officials he's taking for sure. He's going to take one to Georgia, he's going to take one to Ohio State, and he's going to take one to Michigan. Now, we know this is fluid. We'll see what 5 he really truly takes. But I think the interest in Georgia is really real. I think the interest in LSU is incredibly real. And Alabama, man, they just got to be at the table, right? And whatever Alabama's position is at this point in the process doesn't really matter. As he gets closer to deciding, I think you're going to see Alabama in the middle of that one as well. And so I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up being an Alabama, Georgia, LSU deal for Walter Nolan. He also kind of mentioned Florida too, but I'm looking at those 3 SEC powers and kind of like where they're at. Going into the spring for Walter Nolan. Levius Overton, he's the number 1 ranked player in the country in the top 247 in the 2023 class, defensive end, also has basketball offers. Man, he was so fluid and smooth through drills, Josh. Kind of moves like a skill guy, just makes quick work of those drills. Was phenomenal in the 2 one-on-one reps we saw. 21 sacks as a sophomore, playing in big boy ball. In the Peach State. His recruitment is barely getting running, but there are some schools that are doing a good job early on. Alabama, Clemson are 2 he's really connected with. His dad, who's the AD at Kennesaw State, used to work at Alabama, so did his mom in academics. And so he's lived in Tuscaloosa. He's lived in College Station. But Alabama, Clemson, Texas A&M, Ohio State were a few schools that he mentioned. We're doing a good job with him. Tyler Booker, he's talking to a lot of schools too, but Georgia, Florida were kind of the 2 that I thought he talked about the most. The number 4 offensive tackle in the country. Ohio State, Penn State, Notre Dame, Texas, some of the others in play for him. But Florida and Georgia definitely in a good spot for Tyler Booker. Addison Nichols is the number 9 offensive tackle in the country. Georgia is certainly in a good spot there. They're trying to hold off Ohio State and USC. For him, he's going to take officials to those 3 programs in June and try and decide before his senior year. Maybe slide edge for Georgia right now. We'll see what happens coming out of those visits to Ohio State and USC. And then Michael Williams is the number 4 defensive tackle in the country. And Georgia, I thought he was going to commit to Georgia here in the next coming weeks. He's postponed his decision so he can take some officials. USC is the other prominent contender in that one. So Georgia USC battle for Michael Williams.
Heat. And it's not even the summertime. As always, Steve Wiltfong bringing it. Keep it locked on 247sports.com for all the latest. Steven, I'll see you next week.